the show. Ricky B.
And Tony C.
I don't know how I became Tony C. I don't know how. I think there was just like at the time when the Rocky Files were having us all on. I think there was like 3 Tonys or something. So
Oh, because there was a Tony D. I remember
yeah, I
Tony
know.
D.
Yeah, I know. There's Tony
Tony,
D.
yeah,
So I don't know. Whatever. You
it's all
guys know who
right.
I
Hey,
am.
it's a good nickname, you know. We've all been called worse.
Exactly. Exactly. I don't mind. All been well, my friend. All's been good.
All's been good. All's been very good.
Good
Uh,
stuff.
as you know, I had a surprise visitor.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
That's
that was.
right.
I did.
So were
So
you aware of it beforehand,
no,
or did she literally surprise you?
well, no, it was like, all right. So it was
I was
Friday.
going to say, well, before I interrupt, I'm sorry to interrupt, but for
No,
those of you that don't know what we're talking about, Miss Stacy from the Rocky Files found her way up to Syracuse, New York, and into Rick's basement. And no,
yes,
she wasn't tied down there like in Silence of the Lambs or anything. She was,
no,
So go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I guess some
no.
people might not have known what we were talking about.
That yeah, you just take things for granted, I guess. So she was taking her parents up to New Hampshire, New England, to go visit her dad's brother. So looking at the map, she saw that she was going to be passing through Syracuse. So this was Friday afternoon. Um, I jump out of the shower because we're getting ready to go to a wake,
Oh,
and
jeez.
yeah, and a very long time family friend, and rest in peace, Tony K or Tom K, and so I get the text, and she's like, "Hey, I see we're coming through Syracuse. Can you recommend a good hotel?" I'm like, "Yeah, my house. You're welcome to stay if you want." So we're kind of going back and forth, and Deb and I went to the wake, and we come back, and at this point, we don't know what's happening.
Right.
So we talked to her, and she's like, they only made it to Erie, Pennsylvania, something like that.
Hmm.
Like, okay, well, we'll be around tomorrow, more or less. So, if you think you want to stop, stop. So tomorrow morning, the Saturday morning rolls around, and we weren't sure because sometimes you're on the road and
Oh, yeah.
you just want to get to where you want to
Yeah.
get,
Oh, I get it. I've done
and
many of those double-digit hour drives. Yeah.
yeah, and I get it and
I
I understand, and
get it.
I'm like, Stace, look, you know what? You're welcome to stop. You're welcome to stay. You're welcome to keep whatever you know. Traveling sucks. There's no way about it, when you're driving those many hours. So
It's like I've done the long double-digit drives so many times that it just yeah, you're right. It just sucks. There's no way around it.
yeah,
You can break it up as much as you want. It's just a horrible thing.
it really is. And like
So I
when
get
we
it.
just drove back from North Carolina, I'm like, damn, I gotta go get an air compressor and pump my ass back up because it's flat. Yeah, I'm sitting for 14 hours.
Right?
Sorry, bad joke. Yeah. But anyway, so she texted and says, "Hey, we're gonna stop." I'm like, "Cool." So yeah, she was here. Her and her mom and dad were here for about 3 hours.
That's
She
awesome.
came down, so it was very unorganized, but it was such a great time. And it was so not her parents are a pleasure. And it was just so nice to meet her. We've been friends now for how many years?
I know, exactly.
Over
Yeah.
the
Yeah, same.
internet,
I know. I get it. Yeah.
and it's like, just constant hugs, and it was a great time. It was a great time.
Good. That's so cool. I know I was sitting there and I go, I picked up my phone for whatever reason, and I see that there was some new stuff going on, and I see the angle of going down to your basement.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, that's Rick's room. Like, why is it on Rocky Files? So I thought maybe you sent them a video. They were doing something with the video
Oh
of it
yeah.
or whatever. I'm like, oh, cool. They're gonna show his room. And then all of a sudden I see Stacy's there. I'm like, what the freak? Yeah.
I know, right?
How the hell she get up there? That's awesome,
Yeah.
man. That's like you said. It's like we've been friends. When I met John last year in person. and Tony D 2 years ago in person. You're friendly with these people for years. I mean, I've been friends with you now for 4 or 5 years now, and
Yeah. We've
Stacy and Mike and
mhm.
some other people that we kind of are frequently messaging back and forth or whatever. And
Sure.
you're friends. I mean, you're friendly with each other. It's no different than if you live down the street. You just don't physically see each other in person.
Right.
And no different than my friends that I've had for the past 40 years because they're in Philly and New Jersey, and I don't see them. So it's the
Yeah.
same contact. But
Absolutely.
that's awesome.
Absolutely.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and, I had no idea she was gonna do the live thing. I
I
certainly
wish
would
I
have
caught it. I missed it. I didn't
I
see
w
it.
had I even thought of it, I would have, kinda threw you a heads up, but, yeah, I was like, and the thing about it is I got so caught up in the moment. Well, we all were, like, caught up in the moment. I completely forgot to take pictures. I was like, you
Yeah,
know
but can you have? Well, I don't know what kind of phone you have. Can you like stop like is that video on Rocky Files? Is
It
it is
is.
it
It's
kept?
yeah, and I did
Okay.
take some pictures that way, but, it would have been nice just to, like, take some pictures here, there,
Sure. Yeah.
with her mom and her dad and the all,
Yeah.
and me and Deb and her, and it just but we knew that they were pressed for time. We
Yeah.
didn't know how long they were staying. We're just trying to cram as much stuff in at
Yeah.
once,
No, I get it. I get it. I
and,
was supposed to go to Nashville last year, and I think she's like 40 minutes from Nashville or something along those lines. I don't really know. I know she's not that far. And she's like, "Oh, that'd be awesome. Let us know. We'll meet up for dinner."
yeah.
And we never went. We didn't wind up going. We will wind up going anyway. A very good friend of mine. He runs the professional soccer arena up there.
Oh, okay.
Uh, so he's the the head honcho up there. So we're going to go up one time. My
Oh,
daughter is
nice.
very much into soccer, so I figured I'd have my buddy, show us around the stadium and go to locker room, watch the game, and have dinner or something. And then maybe the next day I could have lunch with Stacy. I would love that.
Oh,
But
yeah.
that's cool. That's cool, my friend. And I
Yeah,
got
you know what? Nicer people, they're just
well,
you'll never meet.
that's Rocky
They're
Land,
just she's a sweetheart. Her parents are just awesome, you know, and at their age, they're just slick and mobile, and they're just going all over the place, and
good stuff.
it was a good
Great
time.
stuff. I'm
Yeah,
telling you, that is Rocky Land, or as Stacy puts it, the Rocky Bubble.
yeah,
I mean, like, behind me, Justin sends me this poster. I mean,
yeah.
you've had things, and it's just these people that we know through this. They really, the loyalty and the camaraderie and the friendship is just so unique.
Oh, yeah,
Um, but when your life's meaning is behind a character like Rocky, it doesn't surprise me.
yeah. True.
So it's very cool. But yeah, I mean, I would like we were talking about one time, you and I, at the 50th anniversary of Rocky, to do the Rocky Run in Philly
Oh, that would be
and
amazing.
2026, and that's still my
Mhm.
goal. My goal is to do it. I mean, I'll go up by myself, but I'm hoping I'm hoping obviously Mike and John I know will be there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm hoping maybe Stacy and others can show up. Tony D, I know he lives there.
Yep.
It would just be cool for a bunch of the Rocky community that were branches of the Rocky Files, because when we were all in the show, that's how we all kind of got connected with each other.
Absolutely.
It would be very cool to have one big, you know, I don't know, dinner or something somewhere, or
Oh,
even
yeah.
just to get together. Even if it was just to get together, even if it was just the, hi, how are you? Everybody meet at the steps or something. I don't know.
And then go to dinner at, Adrian's, or not Adrian's, but,
Oh, the
uh,
Victor Cafe.
the
Oh,
Victor
that would be. Could
Cafe,
you imagine
you
that?
know,
I mean,
we were
might be able to pull that off. I mean,
I know, right? Wouldn't that be great?
we have enough of us. I mean, there's probably a good uh, 20. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know how many.
I would think easily that
Yeah.
I would almost say, I bet you if I mean, because Stacy had kinda said an official, unofficial get together next October. Now, that's not the 50th anniversary, is it?
No, that next October is 2024. November of 2026 is the 50th
Okay.
anniversary
Okay.
Rocky Run, and that's the 50th anniversary of Rocky.
Okay.
So that still would be 2 years after the October. But I mean,
Gotcha.
whichever. I mean,
Yeah.
if it would be something like that, I mean, it would just be cool. It'd be fun
But
as
I bet you, you know what? I'd bet a ham sandwich north of 50 would show.
you
North of
think so.
50.
Wow, that
I
many?
do. I
Well, you
do.
figure everybody with their families and spouses, or is that what you're counting? Or you're just, I mean, I
No.
don't even know how many people there are. I mean, there's so many people that are in the United Kingdom
Yeah.
that is part of this, and it would be very cool. It really would be
Yeah.
cool.
Oh yeah.
It
I
would be.
would. Yeah. I would. I'd bet more than 50
Wow.
members would show
Right.
because once that
Well, I
word
mean,
gets out,
well,
yeah.
what are they? What episode? They're up to like episode 85 or something.
Oh yeah.
I mean, so right there alone, that has 85 people that are alumni of the Rocky Files.
Right.
Um, if you look at it like on those terms, really, uh, I don't know. It would be awesome. It would be awesome to set up. It'd be awesome to do, but we'll see.
Mike book the Victor, the whole place. It's ours.
You laugh. I was trying to book my hotel
Uh-huh.
in November for when the run's going to be, because I'm figuring the 50th anniversary might be huge. But it won't
Right.
let me book out that far.
Oh,
Yeah, it's 2 years. Yeah, it's 2 years
yeah.
from this November. So that's usually they let you do like a year or nine
Okay.
months.
Okay.
Because the hotel
Well,
I stayed at when I went up and did the Car Weathers
uh-huh.
was very close to the steps and the statue, and it was right there, Reading Terminal and Reading Station, whatever it's called, where all the little markets are and everything.
Okay.
And
Okay.
it was walking distance to the Italian market and to Pat's cheesesteaks. So
Oh,
it's like, it's just, it would be great. It would be so
I'm
cool.
ready. I'm ready. Let's do
I
it.
know. I mean, worst case scenario, I know you and I'll go.
Yeah, 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 I know, right? There's
So
two.
that'll be fun. That'll be fun.
There's two. For sure. I'm in. 100%.
So as always, I always look at the shirts that you wear when you come on the show, and I
Yeah.
see that you have an expendable shirt.
I'm usually a telltale giveaway.
There it is. There it is. I love that logo. That's really cool.
Oh, yeah, no
It's a
doubt.
great logo.
I've debated. I'm like, you know, because I love the Expendables. I
Uh,
think it's just freaking great, you know, and we'll get into all that. But I was like, I'm teetering on the fence of getting the Expendables tattoo.
oh, really? Oh,
I
wow.
really am because
Well,
I
do you have
love it.
anything else? Like, do you have a Rambo tattoo, or is it just
I
Rocky?
don't. I do
Okay.
not. I
Okay.
do not have a Rambo, um, other than Batman and Rocky, and
Uh,
then like my ocean. I love
mhm,
sharks,
mhm.
although I don't want to get eaten
So I hear that,
by a
brother.
shark or bit.
I
But
let the water hit my toes while I'm standing on the beach. I'm good. Thank you.
I
That's
know,
okay.
right? But I have Rocky on my one of my back shoulders, and I've been really toying with the idea of the Expendables on the
Expendables.
other shoulder. But
That'd be
then I'm
cool.
like, last episode you brought up something, and I'm like, you know what? I might have to
What
go with
I
the
brought up?
Jim.
What I forgot? What I say?
You did
What I say?
the Jimmy Buffett, the Jimmy
Oh yeah,
Buffett.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, come on, that quote. I mean, for those of you that didn't see that quote last week, I still have it from last week, and there it is. It's come on, anybody that is a
yeah,
Jimmy Buffett fan, music fan, Margaritaville. That's the perfect quote.
it is
It's a
absolutely.
perfect
But
quote.
I thought about it maybe like in a circle with a palm tree
There
and
you go.
a tire swing.
There you go. Nice.
Life is nothing but a tire swing.
And that whole thing around it. That be that.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not into tattoos. I don't have any. But that would be very cool looking. That would be
I'm,
awesome.
I think it would be, I I have to find another
But the
tattooist.
expendable one would be cool too. I mean, I'm sure that Sly put the crow on there for a little nod to Edgar Allan Poe. Uh,
Absolutely, because I
and then
and I'm sorry for research purposes and pure entertainment. Um, Shh, don't tell Deb. I know you're gonna watch it. I watched the first two in a row. I didn't get to see three um, lately, although I have seen it. But
Right.
I do remember something in the first one that Christmas said it looks like a black chicken, and he's like, "It's a raven."
Yep. Yep. It's a
So
cool logo. I like it. I think it's a
I
cool
think
logo.
it's hot.
And I mean, the movies are, look, guys, if you're going to see this movie and expecting some kind of best picture nomination film, it's like going to watch, Smokey and the Bandit or Cannonball Run or,
Yeah,
it's just a fun film. It's an action fun film, obviously. And think about it. The first one, so the original, the Expendables.
but actually, Tony, let me interrupt you right there.
Go
That's a
ahead.
perfect. That is a perfect analogy to the Cannonball Run,
Yeah.
Smokey and the Bandit. It's a perfect analogy because you look at like the guest stars, the co-stars,
Yep.
and the names that were in those movies, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh
Fast
God, yeah.
forward, fast forward, take over.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. You're absolutely right, though. It's just a fun film with big names. And some can question, okay, well, there has been 80s action stars, but regardless, they still put on a good show.
Yeah.
It's a fun theme. It's blow them up, shoot them up. It's action. It's got testosterone flying out the gills. I mean, that's what it is. And you can't go into these films, like the Die Hard movies. You can't. They're fun to watch. You're rooting for the good guys. These have a
Yeah.
lot of the good guys in them, and it was cool in the beginning because you didn't know, Mickey Rourke or Chuck Norris or Arnold or Harrison Ford and all these guys. So you're always like, well, who's next? Who am I going to see next? Like,
Yeah.
who's gonna? Because it's just a little nod to who they what they were. And there's so many that we can mention
Right.
that haven't been in them.
Oh,
Uh,
right, right, right.
and that's a whole other conversation because there's a lot of obvious ones that you wonder why they haven't been in them, like the Kurt Russells, Carl Weathers, that have not been in the films. But,
Sure.
um, you know, it's just a fun movie. I don't know. I liked it.
I
I like it.
love them. And I sat there and I laughed because, being Rocky fans and then also being, typically I would say if you're a Rocky fan, you're probably an Arnold fan or,
Yeah.
in the ballpark, and Bruce
Yep.
Willis
Yep.
and Chuck Norris and all those Wesley Snipes and all.
Yep.
Um, I love the dry humor and the comment and the comments and the snide remarks, like,
Yeah.
Arnold comes in and him and Bruce are behind a desk. He's like, "I'm out of bullets," and he says, "I'll be back." And then Bruce, well, I can't remember Bruce's character in the movie, but his name, but he's like, "You'll always be back. I'll be back," and he takes off,
But it's true,
and
it's like they're making fun of themselves. They're making fun of each
yeah,
other. I mean, think about it. When a bunch of guys get together, what do? You razz each other to death. Me
yeah,
and my buddies, we get
yep,
together, we just bust each other's chops, make fun of each
yep,
other, talk about remember this, remember that. And that's what it is. It's like, a
yep.
bunch of, teenagers all together just having a good time.
Yeah,
Fortunately,
I
just trying to
remember
stay alive.
the one, yeah, the one scene where Chuck Norris comes down and Arnold says to Bruce again, I'm sorry I didn't pay attention to their names. Or no, wait,
Well, Bruce is Church. His character's
Bruce, yes,
Church.
yes,
Yeah.
and shoot, I just had Arnold's not Reacher, Rook. Anyway, he says Chuck Norris comes down, the lone wolf, and he shows up and Drugger or whatever his name is, he says over to Church, he's like, "Who's next, Rambo?" you know, like, how can you go wrong? These
I
are
know.
just fantastic.
Yeah, Bruce Willis was Church. Arnold was Trench.
Trench,
Um, Dolph was Gunner, right?
Gunner, and
Gunner.
then Sly was
Sly
Barney
was
Ross.
Barney, and
Barney Ross is the man. I'm telling you,
Barney.
Barney Ross is a freaking man.
And then they had so many. They had Randy Couture. They had, like I said, well, Mickey Rourke was only in it for like 5 minutes. I mean, he wasn't in it very
Yeah,
long.
not
He was the
much, not
tattoo
much.
guy in the
Right,
original.
right.
Um, and then, of course, when a movie's very successful like that, and Sly, they were going to make a sequel. Okay, well, who could be in this one? Who wasn't in the other one? What action stars did we miss? Now, I'm sure a lot of it has to do with the commitments that they have going on. Maybe when they were ready to make two, somebody wasn't available. Maybe Arnold probably said, "I'm just doing one." I mean, whatever their
Mhm,
reasons are for them to be mixing and matching, with the exception of like you just said, Jason Statham, who's Christmas,
mhm.
uh, Dolph, Gunner, Sly,
Terry
Barney,
Terry Crews.
Terry Crews, and I think that was it for the crew that was the same.
Jet Li was in there for the first
Uh,
2. I know that,
yep,
and, yeah,
yeah.
that was
But I
the
mean,
main
well, and then Terry Crews was Hail Caesar was his
Hail
name. Remember?
Caesar. Yeah, yeah,
Hail
Hail Caesar.
Caesar. So,
Yeah, and that
but then
gun
you
he
had
stole,
what's that?
that big was it that big gun he's got, I don't even know what the heck, that 40 cal or whatever. It's
Yeah,
gruesome.
that was huge. But that's just
Yeah.
it. It's just fun stuff. It's just blow them up. I don't want to hear, "Oh my god, that's not realistic." Oh, look at this. Oh, the acting's so corny. Oh, it is what it is, man.
And it's supposed to be.
And it is exactly. You want to see a good cinema film, a Scorsese film, or whatever, then go see that.
Yeah.
But don't go. I mean, and I'm all for those films too. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
I love a good movie that has a great written script and
Mhm.
cinematography, so forth, so on. But these are just fun movies. They're just fun blow 'em up movies.
Yeah, sometimes you just wanna sit down and just watch the screen blow up, you know?
Yeah,
It just,
exactly. No, you're
mindless
exactly
stuff,
right.
and just have a good laugh, you know, and again, I'm laughing at the same jokes from these 2 movies and remembering parts of the 3rd movie, and they're just great. They're just, I always pay
Right.
attention. One thing I really do like is the fact that Sly's in there, he's smoking his stogies, and he's showing that's part of him, you know,
Mm,
that not a lot of people see, maybe on Instagram once in a while, but it's just another part of his real persona that he's actually bringing to the screen and showing. I
right.
like that. I like that. And then I always pay attention to, what's his goatee, mustache, gonna be this time,
Right.
because Sly always changes it up.
Yeah, I mean, he looks good with a goatee and stuff, don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
it's, not a lot of people can pull that off.
No.
In the original, he had the goat he had the it was a thin one, right?
Yeah.
It was just a thin little
Yep.
goatee, and then the second one was just the mustache.
And it's kinda almost like a remember the old Fu Manchu type
Yeah,
things?
like the
Like
handlebar, you
yeah.
know? And then there was
Yep.
3 where that cast is getting bigger and bigger.
Yes.
3 was the one with, Mel Gibson as the bad guy.
Right, Mel Gibson, Kelsey Grammer was in that one.
Yeah, that was a
Um,
little odd, I thought.
yeah,
I mean, he played a great part, don't get me wrong, I
oh,
thought he
yeah.
did great, but it was
Right.
kinda odd that he was in there because that I can remember, he y Kelsey Grammer wouldn't be a name I would ever mention ever if it was
Yeah.
involving action films.
Yeah. Frasier, you wanna join us?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I mean, the last one you had Bruce Willis, you had Jet Li, like you said, you had, obviously the bad guy was, Van Damme,
Oh,
you know,
did
and,
you not hate him though? And I mean, you know, we've watched his movies when he was younger, and I can't remember the name of them, with his martial arts and everything,
uh
but he played that role to perfection. I hated him even knowing that he was Jean Claude Van Damme and
yeah,
he
yeah.
he played the fighter or whatever it was, and um, he did such a great job.
He
I
did.
couldn't stand him. I couldn't stand him.
He did. Well, that was just like in 3 with Mel Gibson.
Yeah,
I mean, I wanted him to die. I was like, I just want him to
I
die.
know. We used to blow him up,
Exactly. Exactly.
you know. And I think Wesley Snipes in 3, wasn't that kind of his return to the cinema and the movies?
Well, yeah, remember the one little line in the film was something about him going away and it was for
Yeah,
taxes or whatever.
yeah, yeah.
And that's what really happened.
Right, yeah, IRS and all that stuff. Yep, yep.
That's pretty fun. And that was the other one that Antonio Banderas was in 3.
Right,
Remember he wanted
yeah,
to be on the team so bad.
yeah.
He's like
Just a
trying
little
to prove
guy.
himself.
Yeah.
And then
And,
Harrison Ford took over, not took over for Bruce Willis, but Bruce Willis wasn't in
r
3.
right, right. But can you imagine? I'm sitting there as I'm watching Expendables 2 last night, I'm thinking, so here's Sly coming into this, and he's going, "Okay, there's Bruce." And he's just skimming his phone book and his
Right?
phone,
Right?
you know, "Oh, there's Arnold, we'll check him, and there's Bruce,
Okay.
and there's Terry Crews," you know? I mean, and he's just going through his laundry list of names.
Yeah.
"Hey, buddy, what are you doing?"
Yeah. I'm
I
gonna
mean,
make
can
this
you
movie where we're
imagine?
blowing a bunch of shit up. Like
I to see his phone book would be incredible.
oh, could you imagine finding his phone?
Oh,
Wow. I can only imagine who's in there. But
jeez.
yeah, I mean that's the cool part about it when you are somebody like him. Uh, you know, you have a laundry list almost of actors that are legends. I mean, let's face
Right.
facts. They're
Yeah.
already legends. So now the first one came out in 2010, I think.
Mm, I'll have to take your word on
Yeah,
that.
2010, because
Okay.
then it was 12 was 2 and 14 was 3. It was
Okay.
like 2 years, 2 years, 2 years. And now, of
And
course, 14 to now, which was the longest span. So that's what, 9 years? Yeah, 9 years. And just this past Friday, 4 came out. We got a
okay.
couple new names in this one.
Is that Andy Garcia?
Andy Garcia.
Okay. Randy Couture is the same.
Yeah.
Lundgren. Is that Megan Fox, right?
Megan Fox. Yep.
50 Cent, Statham. Um, boy, the list is dwindled.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah.
It has. Yeah. I'm assuming, and I don't know, I didn't see it. I'm assuming Andy Garcia plays the bad guy.
He
I'm
does a good job
assuming, yeah.
doing that.
Well, because I mean, he wasn't really an action star, but he had more of a villain type,
Yeah.
able to do that. 50 Cent was with him in oh my goodness. I can't remember the name of the movie now. He was with him in another film, and I
With
can't remember now.
with Sly or with
Yeah, with Sly. With Sly.
oh, I don't know 50 Cent that much, so
I don't
uh
either, but I just knew he was in another movie that I saw. What do you call movie he did with Arnold? The
oh,
Escape Plan.
Escape Plan. Oh, he
Yeah.
was in that?
Hmm.
Okay, I didn't I don't know him, so I don't, I couldn't speak to it.
Yeah. Let me. I don't know. Let me see. I don't know if. Yeah, he was in the original. He was a character called Hush.
Huh, okay.
I don't know if he was in the second one or not.
Well, he's a singer, right? A rapper or something?
Yeah, he's a rapper. Like I don't know. Oh, he was in the second one. He was in the second one.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know much about him. I don't. I just saw the name on the poster, so I was like, okay. Megan Fox. That was the girl from the Transformers, right? Is that correct?
Yeah,
I
I
think I
think
haven't
so.
seen. I only saw the original Transformer movie way, way back when. I'm not
Okay.
really into those films, so I don't really check them out.
Yeah, I've never the same thing. I think I've seen parts and pieces of this one and that one, but never watched the whole one.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, yeah, like you said, the list has dwindled. Obviously, given speculation, not you or I saw it. I haven't seen any spoilers, so I'm not giving anything away by
No.
fact. We're just talking about it on our opinions. But having Sly be 77 years old, I'm pretty sure we won't see him in another Expendables film. So now the question lies: well, what happens to him? Does he go the route of a Harrison Ford, Bruce Willis type of, that type of leader, not
Okay.
not going out and getting blown up or whatever,
Right,
or
right.
does
Yeah.
he die? I mean, is that possible too? Does he just say, "I'm finally going to ride off in the sunset. I'm out of here"? I don't know. We'll see.
Right. I mean, I could obviously absolutely see him playing that part like, Bruce in Church or
Yeah,
Trench Arnold did
yeah,
or Harrison Ford,
yeah.
being like the I don't know, whatever they
Like
were,
the
the
office
director.
liaison or something. Yeah, the
Yeah,
director. Yeah,
the director and having bits of, because I remember this Expendables 4, because it took so long to make, was because Sly wasn't completely on board with it to begin with. From what I remember reading, he
hmm
wasn't sure if he wanted any part of it. I don't know all the particulars, but I do remember hearing and reading that. And it
right,
took a while for it to gain traction. And then I think that's like, okay, in my opinion, he said, I'll do the last one, but this is it. I'm going to phase
right.
out.
Right, I'm gonna wrap it up. I mean,
Yeah,
but again, at his age, you can't blame him. I mean, all these movies these guys are doing, Harrison Ford doing the most recent Indiana Jones, Sly doing Expendables. At their age, like you really can't expect them to do two or three more. I mean, it's just not realistic.
no, no.
I mean, and he's in good enough shape where he could, but it gets to the point where the role has to be changed.
Hmm.
Like you said, become the director, go out and set up the team. I mean, obviously they started introducing the younger Expendables in
Right.
in 2 and 3
Yeah.
to try to take it off to a different franchise where they have the younger guys and the younger girls, which makes sense. I mean, it's a great idea.
Right.
But then again,
Yeah.
you got to have who's going to lead them. Barney Ross is stepping back in whatever form, like we've already discussed. So who's going to take over? Christmas? Is Christmas going to be the leader now? And he's because I mean, Statham's younger than Sly. I mean, but
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's no spring chicken, but he's younger than Sly.
Well, yeah. I don't even know Statham's age, but I mean, he's got some acting chops about him, and his
Well,
movies
he's
are
probably
usually
our age. I mean, so he's 20 years younger than Sly.
okay.
So I mean, he could definitely do a handful more if he
Sure,
wanted to,
sure,
as the leader of the Expendables. And like you
sure.
said, and then
And
bump Barney Ross to be the director.
I could see that happening.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And um, I mean, just watching the movies and the tumbles and the dives and the jumping and the we all the fights are all choreographed and everything, but still when you jump and you're trying to like do a tuck and roll, I mean, think about it. You and I, you're going to jump to the ground and and do a tuck and roll or whatever. How we I I Tony, I've been over to pick up a cat toy and threw my back out.
No, no, I get it. I get it. No, you're not. I'm not. I'm not laughing at it. I mean,
But
I've been
it's
there. I
true.
get it. I get it. So it's yeah. So it'll be interesting to see. But I'm definitely. I mean, I'm gonna check it out. I want to see how
Oh,
good or bad or
absolutely.
indifferent. However it is what it is. I know that it did not blow any box office records out of the water this weekend.
Oh, it
Um,
didn't?
no, it didn't do as great as they were expecting. Matter of fact, The Nun 2 did more at the box office than The Expendables 4. Um,
Okay, I
but
don't know
you
what
know,
that is.
yeah. The Nun's a horror movie.
Oh, okay.
The
Yeah,
Nun's a
I
horror
don't
movie, so they
I'll
made a
stay away
sequel to
from
the
those.
horror movie. I know we're not going to talk about. Don't
I
worry,
don't have nightmares, Tony.
we're not having any Halloween episodes this year. That's okay.
I want no nightmares. I'll grab my
And,
teddy bear and go to
and
sleep.
hey, the new Exorcist is coming out.
Oh,
It's
jeez. I I watched those when I was younger. I'm like, I'll never ever do that again. No way. But I
but
read
it just
I
goes to show you that I wonder how much of an appreciation or lack thereof that there is for the action film and the action stars. It's like that old fashioned action film, for lack of a better term. That's what it is.
Right.
So I do believe that the comic movies have tailed, and I'm not saying they're dead. Don't get me wrong; they'll never be dead.
No,
Comic
no.
books have been around for 100 years for a reason,
Sure.
and making comic movies have been around, and they kind of go in spurts. Like in the '80s, they had some, Superman and Batman and whatnot, and then it kind of died out a little bit, and then of course, 2010 to 2000, whatever it was, that 10-year span of Marvel having its massive
Oh,
success,
yeah.
the
Oh,
Dark
yeah.
Knight trilogy, so it came back around again, but then I think it was oversaturated, and
Mhm.
just too much going on for storyline plots and whatever. I do think it's tailing down where they're not really that thrilled about it anymore.
Well,
So
there is that thought, and I can agree with it. I think your
yeah,
diehard fan, you and I and others who would typically go see this stuff, part of me in the back of my head, and I'm not trying to, go down some wormhole or whatever, but you know, in today's day and age, to put yourself out there in into a darkened theater, it's tough. You know, who do you trust? Who don't you trust? Or is the person next to you sick? I mean, what I'm saying? There's a lot more to think about
I mean, it might be.
nowadays.
That's why it might be. I don't know.
Yeah.
That might have something to do with it. I don't know, but it
It
just.
to me
I
it
I
does.
just don't. What's that?
To me it does, to go to a, like our mall was, I'm not gonna say nothing that's not true. When it was first built and it was great and everything, after COVID, this has gone phew, south.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I won't first of all, I will not let Deb go there by herself. Second of all, I won't allow us to go there together. It's
Okay.
it's like, you know, who needs the hassle, quite
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it might have a lot to do with it. I think maybe if you throw that into the fact that, like I had
just a
just said,
mix.
I don't think that the action film is appreciated as it once was. Um,
It had its time and yeah.
you know, it's the action stars that we grew up with, the muscle bound guys, the testosterone, the Dylan, you son of a bitch, and the big, handshakes and the muscles.
Yeah.
And I think that they're not, and they may not be appreciated because maybe they're just not even known. Maybe they're not known about. Maybe they've never seen them before. And when I say they, I'm talking about obviously younger generations that did not live through the 80s and 90s to see the action films. So the
True.
younger people are not going. You know, I don't know why. I don't know why. But if you say they're not going, but yet 3 weeks previous or a month previous, whatever it was, Barbie did like $500 million or whatever the heck it did.
Well, you
So
look at your target audience then,
exactly,
you know?
exactly.
Look
And
at your
not to sound way over the top like this, there's really no other way to say this without saying it the way I'm going to say it, and upsetting whoever I'm going to upset. Um, today's males are not as masculine and rough and tough and tumble and as they once were. So
Yeah, you said it, I was thinking it because I saw this and I'm not gonna remember the actors' names, but there was a thing on Instagram that showed like Sly and Arnold and Bruce and Harrison Ford, you know, action heroes of yesterday. And then there was 4 from today's day and age,
yeah,
and they're just like,
and have a combined weight of 220.
yeah, I know, right? Soaking wet with concrete
I
shoes.
mean, those are facts, though, man. It's like
Yeah. Not to
the,
make fun, but it's the truth, you know?
no, I'm making fun because if my daughter ever brings home this skinny little wimp guy who who would rather see Barbie than the Expendables, he's not going to be dating her very long. So
I'm with you. I'm with you. I get it.
so
Yeah.
uh, it is what it is. There's plenty of guys out there that are men that want to watch the action films that aren't, you know, overtly violent. They just like a good action
Yeah.
film.
Yeah, I'm not
Uh,
looking to go blow up something.
no,
I
and
just
I
wanna
think
sit
there's
down and
plenty of them. Yeah, there's plenty of them out there that would like this film. I just don't think that they're educated enough. Like my daughters who are younger, my one daughter's 20 and the other one's 17. My 20-year-old who works in a restaurant part-time while she's in college talks to the staff at her job about these films that they have never seen or heard of. And if I
wow.
mention the names of the films, you would say, well, and they're films like, Rocky and Jaws and When Harry Met Sally and Raging Bull and,
Oh my god.
classic films but these people have never seen them or watched them or heard of them. And then Sophia will say, well, you got to check this out. Watch it sometime. And then they'll come in, a week later, 4 days later, whatever. Sophia, I watched that film you told me to watch. Oh, it was so awesome. Oh my God, I loved it. Like we've discussed before, if a film is good, it's going to withstand the test of time. Okay.
Absolutely.
I don't watch It's a
Absolutely.
Wonderful Life every Christmas for the past 50 years because I like it. No, it's a good film. It's a good story.
Right.
And
Right.
it's lasting the test of time, just like Rocky is and these other films are. And sometimes they just need to be introduced to the generation so they can say, oh, wow, that is really, that is good. That is a good film. That really moved me, or that had me cheering, or that was like, oh, that was
Right.
so much fun.
Right.
So I don't know.
I agree. I agree
I don't
100%. And hopefully they'll pass along the information to their friends and will continue to keep these movies, these great films moving forward.
And they will, because like we've had our stories before where you're wearing a certain shirt, and I've
Mhm.
had younger people, oh, is that Rocky? Say things to me.
Mhm.
And then they'll say, "Oh yeah, my dad loves those films," or "My uncle, I used to watch those at my uncle's house," or whatever. Or they'll have a story behind why they know the character, and that they
Right.
saw the films and they liked them.
Right.
So it will be passed along, just like everything else
Yeah.
is. Just like I listened to older music when I was young in the '70s, and I listened to music that was recorded in the '50s and the '60s because that's what my parents were listening to.
Mhm.
And then now I still listen to that music. And I, of course, infused it with the '70s and '80s music that I like.
Right,
So
right.
what do you think my daughters are listening to? The '60s, the '50s, the '70s, the '80s. They're infusing their music with it. So, like, my daughter has
Right.
Bob Seger, Bruce Springsteen, Harry Styles, and Taylor Swift. It's like, it just
Yeah.
all keeps going. So,
Yep. Yep.
hopefully the movies are something that gets passed along, especially the ones not that I personally love, but just the ones that deserve it, that deserve to be passed down and watched forever.
Sure. I couldn't agree more. I
Yeah.
couldn't agree more. And I can turn on the Expendables anytime, and I have all the movies. I have them on DVD, and, I'll turn them on, and I just know I'm in for an hour and a half, 2 hours of good time. You know,
Right. And that's the
funny
thing.
jokes
I
and
think that they don't have that.
yeah.
The younger people don't have that type of film, with the exception of, the MCU, Endgame and Infinity Wars and all. I'm sure they could throw on Civil War and watch that, and yeah, or The Dark Knight and watch that all the time. But other than those films, which are, whatever they were, a year 15, 20, whatever they are, year old, they don't have, like, think about what action films have there been since 2000. I mean,
Yeah.
Pirates of the Caribbean, I might give you that. And of
Mm,
course, the Marvel films, the Dark Knight trilogy,
right.
but they don't
Well, I
have.
mean, some of the Rambos, a couple of the Rambos, but
But again, the Rambos or even the Expendables. The Expendables were 2010. So
mhm,
it's within the last 13, 14 years. But when they look at that movie poster, Stallone, Lundgren, but who the hell are these guys?
well,
Uh,
they when they watch it, like I was saying earlier, those inside jokes is what makes you just laugh,
yeah,
because you get it. You're
yeah,
part of the inside, and it makes you feel part of the movie because it's like, I get it.
yeah, I get
He's busting on Dolph bad. You
it.
know?
So I mean, we'll see. I think it'll eventually come around where they'll start to watch the diehards and the Expendables and the Rambos and whatnot, and see what they are and start to enjoy them more.
Speaking of, I don't know if this is true or not, but I just caught a glimpse of something that Stallone might be thinking of making another Rambo. You heard of that?
I read some articles about Rambo that somebody said that they wanted to do one, but he said he did not. He thought it was a perfect ending to Rambo. But
Okay.
then he was saying on how, if the script is good and see where it goes. Because again, you look at Last Blood, what else could he do? I mean, Last Blood shows his age.
Yeah.
He doesn't try to be the long-haired,
Right.
muscle-bound Rambo.
Right.
He was doing everything in the tunnels with, messing with their minds and booby traps and whatnot. So I mean, I'm sure if anybody could figure out how to do it at his age, it would be him. But I kind of agree with him. I think The Last Blood was the perfect way to end it. I
I
would rather not see it. I'd rather see a prequel.
True. True. And I agree with that. And going forward, I can almost see him at his age, you know, not to say that he's old, but just at his age and whatever limitations. And we know the amount of bones he's broken over the years
Oh
and
God, yeah.
everything, we all feel that pain. But I can see him doing more mentor type
Mhm.
roles, you know.
See, and that would be cool. Now, if he had a Rambo film where I don't know, a buddy of his son, maybe the buddy died and the son is younger, and like you're saying, be his mentor,
Yeah.
or I don't know. I don't know.
Well, he just had a movie came out, and you know, uh, I'm not even prepared for this, but it kind of went on like very quietly, and it was like he was the police chief. It was just within the past 5 to 7 years, and I can't remember the actor's name that he was with. He was in it pretty limited, but he was like almost like a mentor, like the police chief
Hmm.
role. Not a whole lot of action, but yet there was some, and
Hmm.
like coming around the corner shooting, or but not
Well,
like a
it's kind of like what he did in Creed.
yeah,
He's not boxing anymore. He's showing him, and he even said it in the film as Rocky. He's like, "Look, these are things I can't do anymore, but I'm watching and I'm helping
right.
you learn." So yeah, he might, the mentor role might work. Who knows?
I'm trying to. It was kind of an obscure. I don't think it had a whole lot of publicity to it. Um,
What, the film?
yeah.
Was it that one that he did with Matthew Modine?
Yes, yes, yes. I'm sorry.
Let
I'm
me look
sorry that
up.
my
Backtrace.
backtrace. Thank you. I was just getting there.
I didn't see that whole film.
I did. I thought it was a little slow.
Mhm.
Um, but then again, just being a Stallone fan, you know,
Yeah, check out
you
his
know,
work. Sure. Yeah.
we'll watch the guy, read the dictionary to us. So,
Exactly.
well, but again, his role in that was like the police chief.
Right.
He didn't have like the tumbling, jumping,
Sure.
lunging, pine,
Yeah.
just
Hey, you got to be realistic about it now at
yeah.
this
And
age.
I could see him doing more of that.
Right. Right.
You know,
Well, we'll see. So we'll give the Expendables in the box office. Let us have its run there. I'm going to check it out. I know you're going to check it out, so we
oh,
can
absolutely.
hit it up on the Instagram and say what we thought about it. Give it some time so more people could see it. But otherwise, the franchise as a whole, the four films. I mean, obviously not seeing the fourth, but they're fun. They're just fun. Blow them
Yeah.
up. Testosterone, camaraderie. It's like a baseball clubhouse with machine guns. It's
Yeah.
just a good time. It's just a
It
good
is.
time. So
It is.
go into it with that, and you'll enjoy it.
Yep,
All
put it on
righty,
your
my
surround
brother.
sound in your theater mode in your living room,
Yeah,
and
exactly,
shake the vases off the walls.
exactly. All righty. Well, we'll see everybody next week. We have a good
This
show
was
next week.
good. This was
Yeah.
good.
Well, this was I like. We've been talking about doing an Expendables one for a while,
Yeah,
so I'm
yeah.
glad we did that.
And if
But
I
yeah, I'll
ever
go
get
check
the
it out.
tattoo, I'll let you know.
What's that?
If I ever get the tattoo, I'll let you know.
Yes, please, please. All right, brother. We'll see you next week.
You got it, buddy.
All right.